Odin, shut up. Who is the person from Lockly? Question mark. All righty. All right, we're letting people in. Getting everyone started here. If everyone can make sure that we have our microphones.
Not going well.
Why am I getting so much feedback? Okay, that's better. All right, we're just letting everybody in. We got quite a few people. Looks like we got 20 people or so. All right, welcome everybody. This is Locksmith Live. And we are going to be covering and checking out the Lockly product today. Has anybody ever heard of Lockly?
I have.
Yeah? Okay, what do you think of the product?
Well, since I work for Lockly, I think it's great.
Welcome. You must be our representative today. So sorry, things were a little hectic here. It took me a minute to get back. But go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, that's okay. For some reason, I can't get my camera working. But my name is Mark O'Donnell. I'm the director of sales for North America for Lockly. And I just wanted to thank everybody for allowing me to join. And we have Justin on as well. Justin is one of our project managers and technicians that we were asked just to be on just in case we needed to answer any questions or anything else Lockly. So again, I just wanted to say thanks and feel free to shoot away with any questions as we progress through this.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to go through and we're going to check out a couple of the different products. One of the main focal points that I've seen, we've been installing the Lockly deadbolts, the Visions, and the Pros for a while, and they're great. They're holding up amazing. I took the end code that was on my personal door off and put Lockly Visions on, and I'm really liking it. They're quality, they're heavy duty, they're durable. They have the additional features such as camera. They have the fingerprint as well, which a lot of the other locks do not offer. And I'm really impressed with it. I really thoroughly am. And I was a little hesitant to begin with, just like, oh no, another product, trying to flood the market. And then who knows if they're going to be here in a while. But I really commend you guys on producing a quality product and standing behind it as well. Can you tell us a little bit about how Lockly got to where they are here and now?
Sure, absolutely. Lockly's been around for about 7 years now, but we've been mainly on the retail side of everything. We got into Home Depot after only about a year, which on the retail side is pretty impressive. And but a couple of years ago, they decided to try to move into the commercial side of it. So Lockly, we're like the only 100% vertically integrated company. So we manufacture every aspect of the lock. Nothing is subbed out. Nothing is brought in. We have 3 factories overseas. Our CEO owns the factories, so we manufacture everything. And the best thing I think about Lockly is, we don't really consider ourselves just a lock company. We consider ourselves a technology company because along with all of our locks, we have our back-end operating system. So we can service multifamily units, office buildings, college dorms, et cetera, and we can manage it all with our operating system. So we like to say that we can give everybody the freedom and give them a total access solution. And you don't have to go, to one company for a lock, to another company for support, et cetera. So like I said, we're the only vertically integrated company that provides the entire total access solution.
That's great. That's amazing. I believe UHS Hardware is actually going to be doing a giveaway. So I'm going to put that link in the chat section here. Just if anybody would like to copy and paste that link or click on it, follow it. They are going to be doing a giveaway. So there's going to be a Lockly deadbolt, the fingerprint read deadbolt, the mechanical version given away. So there's going to be a drawing for it. So anybody that's here, I'm not sure 100% of what the requirements are, but I believe if you registered for this class, if you go to that link and fill out the information there, you'll be entered to win, and they'll be giving away one of those as well. So adds to all the fun and excitement here on Locksmith Live. Let me just explain a little bit about Locksmith Live. So I'm the host, Wayne Winton, and I have wayneslockshop.com. I work with companies such as Lockly. I work with suppliers such as UHS Hardware, and we really try and come together and use the resources available to be able to get information and products out to the locksmith and out to the people. I work at a really, really high, fast, intense pace, and this allows me a platform to do that. So just so everybody knows, we are on a Zoom meeting right now. There's about 23 people in this Zoom meeting. So if we can make sure that all the microphones stay quiet, except for myself and the guest, so that we can get all that information across, that would be appreciated. We like to work with the suppliers and manufacturers as well, so we get accurate information. So if we have information that needs to be corrected, the Lockly representative can go ahead and say, hey, this is exactly how it's supposed to be, and this is the word from the factory. I always want to make sure that we put factory information out there so that if there's any question, it goes right back to the manufacturer and they can, you know, decide what happened with that and give their take on it. Moving forward, it is live. So we are on YouTube live as well. There's not going to be any lock picking or, you know, anything like that shown on this particular meeting. So it is a public event. It is a live event, and people can join us live on YouTube as well. It's also going to be recorded. So if you don't want to be recorded, or you don't want to show your face, or you don't want to have your video on there, you can control those settings yourself through the Zoom app. Okay. Moving forward, I'm just really, really excited about this product. When did the Lockly Guard, the narrow frame style version, come to the market and become available? I think you have your microphone muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. So the Guard's been around for a couple years. I think Justin, if you want to jump in and grab this one, he knows more of the history and when everything was released.
Yeah, so I think you're referring to the narrow style Defender model. It kind of compared to the alarm system that everyone was kind of used to. That actually came out, I think it was last year when it was officially released. We had it kind of some people that were testing it prior to that. But last year.
All right. And so is that available only through UHS hardware right now?
At this point, yes. Yep, UHS.
Okay. All right, cool. So a lot of moving parts for this. The UHS hardware is the one that's doing the giveaway. So they're the one that's providing the product for today's giveaway. Again, that's in the comment section. If you want that link, just go ahead and follow it, copy and paste it, put it in your email, fill it out later, whatever you'd like to do. This installation of this Lockly product is going to be in the commercial locksmithing course and the electronic access control course. So quite literally, these are two hands-on in-person classes that are going to be Thursday, June 22nd from 9 to 5, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. In Miami, Florida, for UHS. There's going to be storefront servicing. So it's going to cover all kinds of aluminum style doors, hinges, pivots, exit devices, internal closers, external closers, anything you need to service a door, Herculite style doors, weird doors, just anything about doors is going to be available in that 8-hour hands-on class. The other portion is going to be the electronic access control course, which is going to be hosted and taught by myself and John Nolan, who is an electronic expert. He's also my business partner in this as well. And we own a company together called John Wayne Lock and Safe, and we do a lot of safe installations and a lot of electronic access installations. So we'll also have that electronic access control course on Friday, June 23rd, again, from 9 to 5. That'll be a hands-on in-person class. So anybody that wants to sign up for those, if you like what you see here, you're going to see a ton more of this style education and the added benefit of hands-on and the added benefit of being able to ask questions in person for both of these classes. So make sure you take advantage of that. Getting back to the actual Lockly Guard installation, we're going to go to wayneslockshop.com. This is my training page here. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go into electronic access. This is the forum section. So we come into electronic access and we're going to say Lockly Guard installation right here. Now, I have done a lot of different installations on this particular door, and we've put a lot of different systems on here. I need to find my participants. All right, if you're coming in, we got to shut mics off.
Like cancellation.
There we go. All right. One of the fun things with Zoom. So this is one of the first ones that we had installed, and we've put several different electronic access systems on our own personal front door. And I'll tell you what, this is the one that stayed. We've done everything from hardwired electronic access to standalone access to this, and this thing has actually stayed. So what we did here is we actually have a latch guard that's installed on this door. Now, we could install the lock directly over the latch guard. You don't have to take it off, but I like to use a jig, and we have one of the jigs from Major Manufacturing to be able to install and line up all the holes. Now, one question for the Lockly team, was this specifically designed to be on the same footprint as the other locks on the market out there, the other electronic standalone access?
Yes, so this was designed to kind of compare with all the aluminum style door front locks out there. And the internal portion, you have that panic bar option, you have the thumb turn, or even a lever option internally.
Right. I'm specifically referring to the bolt pattern that actually bolts it on the door, meaning that if one of the older style locks, referring to like a 1200 or a 1300 or a 1250, if we were retrofitting and upgrading a customer from that lock to the Lockly version to have the nicer, sleeker looks, to have all the advantages and all of the, you know, the extra things with the pin code. You've got the nicer looks, it's sleeker, it's pin code, it's fingerprint, it's RFID card, and app controlled. You can't get those upgrades on any of the other models or the different models that are out there now. Specifically, that 4-point bolt pattern is identical to the other locks on the market. Was that by design?
Yes, yep, that was by design. We wanted to make it kind of the most easy kind of installation and kind of more standard with what you'd seen in older models.
Absolutely. And I'm going somewhere with that. That is a huge advantage because you can take that older style off, and this will be a pretty much direct bolt-in replacement. You just need to simply enlarge the holes a little bit on there. So what we had on here originally was we had this Steel Hawk, and we had some hardwired electronic access on here. So the Steel Hawk's going to go away, and we're going to have this left on the inside. So we'll have an exit paddle and the standalone access on the outside. So we use the, I believe it's the HIT 32AL3 jig that goes on the door, and it'll drill out the 4 holes. The nice thing about using the jig is it's going to hold everything so that your holes stay nice and straight. You can't skew, you can't turn. It's going to offer that gap so that you can make sure that all your holes are drilled really nice and straight. And once the door is prepped, it's a very, very simple installation. It's literally 4 bolts. And you also have this little wire that goes through like so on the top. That would be one of the only additional holes that you would need to drill. So once John has the wire fed through, it's literally a matter of just feeding those 4 bolts through there, those studs, and then bolting it in place and plugging in a few connections and firing up the lock. It's very, very, very simple. If your existing conditions or door has a deadbolt installed, so let's say you've got like an Adams Wright deadbolt or a hook bolt, all you need to do to convert it over to this would be order that Adams Wright 4900 series dead latch package and the conversion kit so that you can put the strike on the frame side, and you can turn a deadbolt setup into a latch bolt setup and use this product with that. Now, that actually brings up a really good question. Do you have a system that operates with the Adams Wright dead latch or hook, or I'm sorry, deadbolt or hook bolt system?
Yes, I believe this system actually has an option for that. That's something that came up previously as well.
Okay.
There's 3 different kind of variations that will allow for that.
We'll have to talk more about that. This system, we wanted it to lock every single time, and that would be the difference. That's how I ask the customer, like, what do you want this lock to do when we're bidding and quoting electronic access? Do you want the door to lock every single time, or do you want and like have a code or a credential every single time you need to open that door, or do you want it where your employee comes, they present their credential or they put in their code one time, it unlocks the door like a deadbolt for the day, and then they put in their code and it relocks it for the evening. You have to define what access they want, right? With this one, we went with the lock every single time feature. So this is the Adams Wright 4900 series dead latch installation. So John's going ahead and putting the lock directly on the door here. And you can see that these are the two mounting holes. So these are the two holes that the screws are going to come through. And actually the studs are going to come through, and then the screws on the inside are going to bolt right together. And then the center hole is where that wire comes through. Now, can you explain to us exactly what that wire is for and what it goes to and what that wire does?
So that wire actually connects the external and internal portions. Basically, the external portion is going to have your display screen, the fingerprint scanning, all of the key waves and stuff like that. And the internal portion is more of the brains of the operation. So that's what that connector cable is for.
And you want that connection on the secure side, on the inside, so it can't be tampered with, correct?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. We do have some questions on here already. Are you familiar with multi-point hardware? It would be more like hoppy style doors or fur doors, more of like a residential application where you'd have bolts that go up and down and a cassette. It's kind of like the European style doors. Do you guys have any options for that available yet?
I believe they call that like the hurricane door as well.
Yes.
Where it'll lock
Yep.
at the top and the bottom.
Yes.
So we are currently working with some hardware to get that to work. It's gonna be a different model. It's again a narrow style one, but it's the Athena lock that will actually have those capabilities. That's still on the roadmap, I think, by the end of this summer.
That's really cool. Josh just asked that. Josh is my lead tech, and we're in the Aspen, Colorado area, and those things are everywhere in the alpine environment. The contractors tend to follow a lot of European building styles. So those kind of, we call them multi-point doors because we don't have hurricanes here, but we just have extreme cold weather, and that style seals the door and forces the steel shut on the door. That's why they're really popular here. So it would be nice to have an electronic conversion available for that, because right now there's not a whole lot of really good options. You just have way too many moving parts. A lot of times we can mag lock them, or we can strip all those guts out and we can put conventional locking hardware on there. But that would be great if you guys had a solution for that as well. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing the Athena lock series come out. Thank you for asking that, Josh.
Yeah, and Wayne, I was just going to jump in and just solidify that Justin is absolutely right on that. It is the Athena, and that will be, it's actually hitting now. So, you know, if anybody needs anything like that, we could probably get it rolling sooner rather than later.
Put me down.
All right.
I would love to do one. As a matter of fact, I bet Josh probably has a customer where we could get that installed for you. We could do some beta testing for you and get you a little feedback. And I bet that would be an extremely popular item here. I know we probably see at least 4 or 5 multi-point doors a week here. So they're really, really popular.
All right, let me see what I can do about getting you one.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So back to the install here. We're back on aluminum style storefront door. This is going to be the most common thing that you're going to see here. And it's a standalone, completely standalone. It takes batteries. It does not use any hard power whatsoever. The 2 mounting holes at the top are going to be your 3-bolt holes. The one in the center is going to be for the wire, and that wire is going to be a little data communicator that comes on the inside. You want to keep that nice and protected. Okay. And then again, on the bottom, you're going to have the same thing down here. You're going to have that 3-hole pattern. Is the other hole for can you access the battery compartment from there? Is that what that other bottom one is?
I'm not sure what that other hole is. The battery compartment would be on the internal portion on the actual unit, though.
You have to take the lock off to change the batteries.
Yep. For this model, you do.
Okay. All right. Battery life. What are you guys getting? You guys getting 4 or 5 years out of them?
For
Depending
this
on use?
particular monitor, I think it's over a year and a half. For this
Okay.
particular, it's more made for higher traffic.
Okay, cool. All right, good stuff. So here we have the main holes drilled out, and then like I said, so if your door's already prepped for a 1200, 1250, or 1300, and you're upgrading it to one of these, you just drill the holes out a little bit larger, and you may have to add this hole right here at the top, and it should be a super easy, super clean conversion to be able to add this into that equation. Here's what it looks like with the data cable coming through, and then we've got the lock mounted flat on the outside. It's actually like a twist connection, so it's a really solid connection. This is going to be the drive cam that goes inside the Adams Rite 4900 series. So this is your part, correct?
That would be our part. Yep, and I think two of them come in
Right.
the box.
We got a right and a left. These aren't handable, but they give you a right and a left, correct?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay. All right, cool. A lot of times the cams are reversible, but I'm not sure that this particular one is. You might be able to flip it around on there. Looks like Kafir has added the Athena lock is available in stock at uhshardware.com. So look at that. It's already ready to go. Really looking forward to checking that out in the future as well. So here's what the Adams Rite 4900 dead latch series is going to look like. And then this is what that cam is going to look like in there. So as we're doing this is the first time we're really putting this lock together. So I like to put it apart in my hands. I like to see how the cam actuates. I like to see how these other things work together. Hello, whoever's got your mic on. There you go. All right, so I like to put these together and see how everything works and integrates in my hand before we put it on the door so that I can be familiar with exactly how everything is working. Need to make sure that we have the correct handed cam, that it operates and turns in the correct direction so that it retracts the latch and does everything that we want it to do. Right here, we're completely set up, ready to go. Everything is working perfectly in my hand, and we can go ahead and install this on the actual door itself. Okay. Here's what it looks like with the right-hand version. You'll see the little R or the little L stamped into it. Depending on which one you need, that indicator will tell you which one you have and which one you're going to use for your particular handing, whether the door opens in, out, whether it's right or left-handed. Here's what it looks like actually installed on the door. So we've got the steel hawk out of the way, and now we've got the 4900 series dead latch in play. We also have the two little studs for the exit paddle that would go on the inside. You could use the exit paddle, or you can use an exit device, whichever one you have spec'd out for this particular job. Here's what that cam looks like from the outside. You've got the square on a diamond, and then you've got these two little nubs that actually insert and actually interlock directly with the lock itself. They kind of help align everything and help hold it in place. That's it. It's literally drilling a couple holes, feeding the wire through, installing the cam, and tightening the screws down. And this thing is pretty much done and ready to go. This is what it's going to look like on the door itself. Now you'll notice this little spot right in the center here. This is actually your fingerprint reader. Now Lockly has specialized fingerprint reading technology that I believe is 3D fingerprint reading technology. Is that accurate?
So it actually takes metadata from your finger. It's measuring the very small grooves between each of your lines on the finger, and it actually takes those measurements and puts them into a form encrypted metadata.
Oh, okay, perfect. Awesome. So what makes that technology better than just your standard flat fingerprint reading technology?
So we've noticed that it's a lot quicker when reading the actual fingerprint. Again, it's encrypted, so it can't really be copied. There's no way somebody's going to like kind of, I guess, paste your finger from one and then try and replicate that because it is those small measurements. I would just say mostly it's more secure and it's a lot quicker than a lot of the other finger biometrics out there.
And then does that deal with, dirt and contaminants and just, people's hands tend to get dirty throughout the day. And, you get abrasions and things like that, that you may not even notice how does your fingerprint reading technology deal with those outside?
Yeah, so that's
things?
exactly right. The more often that you use this fingerprint scanner, the more accurate that it gets. The first time that you actually register a fingerprint, it'll ask you to do it 5 times and an additional 5 times for what they call deep scanning,
Mhm.
kind of get more accurate measurements. And as you use it more often, it becomes more and more accurate. That's kind of the
Yeah. Yeah, and I've noticed that when I put them on my front door, you know, the after you register the first 5 times, it does good. Maybe you get one here or there, your finger's a little wet, you didn't get it perfectly on there, but after I used it for like a week, we pretty much had almost no, you know, misreads or failures or anything like that. So I can say the same for this one too. It's been on the shop for over a month now, and no issues, no errors. The thing just works. So somebody said that's a 4513, not a 4900. If we grabbed a different part out of there, we just grabbed what was ever laying around in the shop. I believe it's designed specifically to work with the 4900 series. So if this is a little bit different one, it will work with this. It'll work with the 4900 series as well. Thank you for noticing that. All right, so this is what it's going to look like on the door. You can see that we've got the cam and everything in place, and everything is nice and lined up. This is a good chance to make sure that you have the correct back set for your latch, and that you're not trying to move something on there. Just because you replaced it with a brand new one, sometimes you could have the wrong back set. And if things aren't lining up and looking like they look right here, that's going to continue to give you problems moving forward. Okay, so you want to make sure you get that nailed out of the way and make sure that that is proper immediately before moving forward. Here's again what it looks like from the side. The handle gives you plenty of clearance from the glass. I've never had any, you know, kind of binding or anything. It also swoops back so that there's a very small gap in between the gaps, in between the glass and the lever. The reason for this is for ADA compliance, and if there is a fire in the building, hoses and things will not get caught on the lever. So that's why it has that big long swoop that comes all the way back to here to make sure that it's fireman friendly, fire hose friendly, ADA compliant, fire code compliant, NFPA 90 compliant, and all of the above. You guys did extensive research into making sure that this lock was compliant with all of those different regulations, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. Here's what it looks like from the other side. You can see that you've got the screen here where the Pin Genie will come up. And Pin Genie, can you tell us a little bit about Pin Genie and why that is so special for your product? Because your product this is patented technology just for the Lockly product, correct?
Yep, that's exactly right. So that's basically kind of the cornerstone of the whole kind of company. We started off as just like a small app where you can basically encrypt files, photos, or anything on the app. And if you're using the keypad, no one would be able to look over your shoulder and guess what the actual code is, right? So basically it protects the thought, and it protects you from worrying about anybody ever looking over your shoulder and trying to guess what that key code is. We've also recently taken the same technology and put it on and place it on a smart safe, which we'll be releasing this summer. Again, it's just having the peace of mind of not knowing when anyone can guess anything over your shoulder. We actually have at CES, we put money in the safe, and if you're able to guess the code over our shoulder, you're able to keep that money. So it's kind of a little fun thing that we have. But essentially, there's 2 different modes. You can just enter the code as it is. Basically, any circle that contains that digit, it will take as valid, and then you hit the enter button. There's also an option to shuffle it every single time that you hit the keypad as well, if you want to do something like that.
And then is that setting available in the app? You just set it up to randomize?
Yep, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's what ours is set up for. A couple questions rolling in. Will it work on a thick door, 2 inches or thicker? Do you have a thick door kit?
I don't believe that we do at this time, but that's something that we can definitely reach out to our manufacturer and get that rolling.
Do you have one for the deadbolts or the other locks?
The deadbolt has an extender, yes. I believe it's 2.5 inch. I'm not sure that the latch version has an extension at this time, but it's definitely something we can get rolled out.
The latch version doesn't right now, but it is being worked on. And one of the great things about Lockly being completely vertically integrated is we like to say that we're nimble. So our CEO loves the fact when he gets feedback, he can just retool the factory and start new manufacturing processes for these types of requests. So it's great information. I will send that back to him.
Oh yeah, great. Now, I mean, I'll just give you my personal opinion on that. For this application, almost all of your aluminum storefront doors are going to be identical. That thickness and prep and everything. I don't think it would be as popular on this unit. I could be wrong. There could be some specialty applications for that. But for the most part, the deadbolts, again, working in the weird Aspen, area, it's a ski resort town. People build these giant King Kong castles with, doors that would keep a dragon from Game of Thrones out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've worked on a 5.5 inch thick 16-foot door before. It's crazy what you'll come across here. So having those thick door kits up to 2.5 inch is really, really good. Is there a part number that you have for that? Does it come with a screw kit, a tailpiece kit, and everything that's designed to work with the Lockly deadbolt product?
Yep, it has everything included.
If you could put that in the
run around
chat
the corner.
section, that would be awesome.
Definitely. Let me go grab.
Cool. All right, so let's see, moving forward here. On the inside, once you have the lock mounted on the outside, to secure the lock in place, you're just going to have this little plate that comes up right like so. You're going to have 2 screws that feed through. They're going to meet into those studs. It's going to pull the door tight or pull the lock tight. And then the wire is going to feed through. Just make sure that it's not pinched or crimped under anything, and that it has free egress and it's not going to get caught on any sharp objects or anything. Make sure that hole is cleaned out. If you have a file or a little rasp or sandpaper or anything, clean that hole up a little bit, just so we make sure that we clean all this. Okay. Then here we've got the key inserted, so we're actually testing to make sure that the key works. Got the key in play. The mechanical key override works. Do you guys sell the tail pieces? So let's say one of the things we wanted to do with this application actually was we have our own high security Primus system. What would it take to put one of the high security Primus cylinders in your product?
That's not a question I've came across quite yet. If you can maybe send me the actual hardware that you're looking for, we can see if there's a fit or if there's something that we need to change to make that work.
Okay, I think like the cylinder, I believe it's 1.25 inch mortise cylinder.
Yep.
And the problem that we ran into was the way that the tailpiece, it's a unique tailpiece that comes on that cylinder that interacts with that lock. Normally, we would be able to just interchange that tailpiece with Primus, Medico, ASA, Multi-Lock, whatever your favorite, brand high security lock is. And then that cylinder would be the same length, same thread, same specs on everything else. We would be able to put that tailpiece on there so that we convert it to do that. I know we can do that with all of the other products that Lockly makes, the deadbolts and the other ones. We can replace that key and knob cylinder with a high security cylinder in those applications. But on this one, we found that we didn't have the right conversion kit to do that.
Yeah, and I was just going to make that comment, Wayne. Almost all the other ones you can sub out any type of cylinder. This one though, I'm not sure either. So yeah, send that question off to Justin and myself, and we'll get that answer for you.
Okay, yeah, John Nolan's the one that came up with it, and so I'll ask him here in just a little bit. All right. So then handle down, and now we're going to you could either do an exit device or, in our shop, it's really just us that kind of go in here. It's not really for the public right now. Cool. Deadbolt extension, part number PGA 1101, 53 millimeter through 68 millimeter. That's really cool. That's awesome. Copy and paste that if you need that particular part number. It would be good to have a couple of extra sets of those on the truck when we install these on some of the doors that we do. It'd be a good idea to really have that ready to go. In this application, we're going to put this exit paddle on here. So just make sure that you get all your handing and everything. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how to install the paddle. This one was already on there, so we just took it off, replaced the dead latch on here, and then just put the paddle back on. And that is what allows us to exit out of the location. You can see here, it just interacts just like so, and you come right out. And here's that bottom plate. So same thing, 2 screws on the bottom, and then there is this hole right here that you can add for the prep. I thought that that was for the battery access, but I haven't had to change them or play with them too much, so we haven't gone down that road just yet. Then after you get the top plate installed, or I'm sorry, this is the bottom plate. After you get the bottom plate installed, this little cover plate comes over and it just slides right down and covers up the screws. Nice clean look right here. And then it tells you a screwdriver bottom, push the bezel up, remove the battery cover, screw to replace the battery. So I think there might be a way that we can replace these without it coming off the door. The directions seem to indicate some degree of that. And then here's the top one here. So the top one's going to be a little bit different. The top one slides into place, but you have to leave room for the that little dongle. What is that part called? Can you tell us the exact name of that part that this wire plugs into that goes into this square spot?
That's the square metal piece.
That's the next piece that goes with it. It's what that piece plugs into, this guy.
I'm actually not familiar with that.
Okay, I will just call it a dongle for right now, but you can see how that connects together. You just run the wire, connect these two together, and you feed that wire back into the hole as much as possible to keep it as concealed as possible. And then this thing literally just has some adhesive on the back of it, and peel it off, stick it in place, and there you go. You are set, ready to go. Scan the QR code. It'll help walk you through the setup process. And this lock is pretty much done and installed and ready to go. There's a couple extra holes on this door from other previous setups. So I always like to have my own personal stickers that have a QR code on them. These are from Professional Business Products, and that QR code takes you directly to my website. So if the customer ever has any problems with the paddle, with the lock, with batteries, you would be surprised how many times I go out and put electronic access on a door, standalone electronic access, and I get calls, years later to simply replace the batteries. That's all it is. And so we still get that service call. I charge almost as much as I charge to rekey the lock to replace the batteries, because sometimes it takes that long. So there's still a lot of return revenue and return business that you can get simply from adding your branding to that particular door. Right there, that is it. This is pretty much done and in the bag. Finished product right there. Okay.
And that piece is actually called the Bluetooth receiver. So that's receiving the Bluetooth in that portion.
Bluetooth receiver. So that's going to receive the Bluetooth signal from your phone to the door. So let's talk about all of the different ways that you can access this lock. One of them is the Pin Genie pin code, right?
Yep.
Correct.
We have Pin Genie. There's the fingerprint RFID scanner. You can just access it by clicking the button on your phone. And then we newly came out with a new feature called Scan to Open. So now all of the locks that are newly manufactured will have, you can actually see it on this picture, it's that small sticker with the QR code on it. And you can scan that QR code to unlock. What's particularly interesting about that is that you do not need Wi-Fi to grant or revoke that access, and it can be done at any time.
Oh, nice. That's really cool. So that's kind of this new era and new system that we're going into. The more that spaces are being shared, like in big metropolitan areas, it's really common to have commonplace offices, temporary offices you can just rent for a couple hours. You can rent them by the hour, by the day, by the week, by the month, by the year. Airbnb locations, businesses have similar, kind of things where it's not so much residential, it's not a home, but it's actually a building or an office space. There's a place here because we have such bad weather most of the year. It's all indoor baseball, soccer, so people can play sports. They can play outdoor sports indoors all year long, and they rent it out to like birthday parties and stuff. This is great for that because you can send out a one-time code. They can use it for that allotted time, and then you can get rid of the code. Is yours set up based off of time as well? Can you say, I want this code to work for 10 hours or 24 hours? Or how does that work?
Yep. So there are multiple ways that you can kind of program it. You could do like a one-time access where it'll only work one time. You can have it work for a validity period. So you can say from March 22nd to March 25th. You can also create recurring codes where they'll be available on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock if you wanted to do something like that as well.
Really cool. Awesome. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this an RFID card, or how is this particular credential being read?
Yep, that's an RFID card. We also have key fobs that are available, and we have had in the past wristbands that have been requested that we're also working on.
Okay, cool. What about remote release? Like if we had a office manager and the door was designed to be locked most of the time, but they needed to buzz somebody in, like the UPS or FedEx guy. Do you have something that does that as well? Or would that just be the phone app?
It would just be the phone app at this time, but we just recently had that request. It's something that I've pushed up the pipeline, so I would imagine we would have something like that in a timely manner.
Cool. Yeah, that would be great. I've got some customers who would be interested in that as well. So really, what this product is selling is convenience, and it's selling a whole lot of convenience and a whole lot of options to the end user with all of these different forms of being able to enter and use the lock.
Yeah, exactly. Keep in mind also that there's a lot of other features that we didn't touch on that Jason didn't mention, or Wayne, that you didn't mention.
Go ahead.
There's things like there's air transfer. So if you have multiple units, you can transfer fingerprints to multiple locks. You don't have to, manually have somebody go and do each and every lock. You can do that. There's programmable auto locking. My gosh, there's a registrar mode that allows you to pre-schedule access. Justin actually did mention that. You can set up Wi-Fi alerts. My gosh, there's just a ton of different features that we could spend hours on if we had the time. So,
wow. And it sounds like this system. It sounds like the only limiting factor is, there's not really a limiting factor, but as you upgrade the app is what really controls the lock. The lock is going to be able to integrate whatever updates you guys come up with. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Even for that scan to open option that I just mentioned, all of our old locks will still have the capability to have this scan to app open. You can just print out a QR code from your app. So that's kind of our whole thing. Once you've kind of invested in this, it's going to continually kind of grow as our app and our software does as well.
Yeah, that's the main point I want to get across here. I guess what I'm saying is if you invest in a different product and it doesn't have these features, you're stuck with that product and the updates that it's going to give you. And sometimes with a lot of like a competitive product, you've got to have a laptop and a connection cable, and that is what it is. You're only going to be able to take that system so far, and it's already kind of really old and on its way out. This one shows so much promise because it's literally as capable and universal as the app will allow it to be. As technology progresses, so does the lock. Just because you put this lock on here a year or two ago doesn't mean that it's not going to be able to accept all of the new features that come out with the new products.
Yeah, it's just like your phone. All the updates will get pushed out through the app. You'll get a notice that the update is coming, and it's just like your cell phone.
Cool. We have another question here. It says, I may have missed this, but does the lock connect to the Lockly hub, or does it communicate via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi?
So it'll actually connect to both. All of the locks will connect via Bluetooth. All of the Pro line models will have the Wi-Fi hub included. This lock will have that Wi-Fi hub, and then depending on what exactly you need, you can kind of use it in both manners, just in Bluetooth or in Wi-Fi as well, depending on the type of access that you're looking to grant.
Perfect.
Yeah, and future models down the road, we're working on having the hubs integrated inside the actual lock, so we don't have a physical extra hub that you need to install. But that's a little bit down the road, but something to look forward to.
Awesome. Okay, cool. We got another question here. Is the QR code universal operation or is it programmable?
I would say that it's a universal operation. Each QR code is unique to each lock, and as soon as you update the app, it'll be available for any of the end users.
Awesome. Let's see here. What are the element ratings, hot and cold temperature? Boy, I hope you guys brought your A game. There are some really, really good questions coming out of this.
Here, give me one moment. I'm looking for that one.
It's okay. We can come back to it. We can play this video a little bit. And if you have more questions, put them in the chat section and we'll answer them after the video. So this will be the video installation, a little more kind of hands-on, kind of seeing how the parts move together, how that jig actually goes on the door, and just the lock actually functioning and working in operation. This is Wayne here with Trey County Locksmith Service, and I'm with John from Reliance Security. And today we're going to be installing this Lockly Guard. Now, this is a narrow frame aluminum style door, like with the glass and aluminum frame. This is designed to fit on that narrow frame. Not very many locks like this are on the market right now. There's one other one that is out there that I'm aware of. There's several other ones, but there's one that's kind of a go-to, and this one will actually fit in that footprint. We actually tested that out, and the jig that is designed to install the alarm lock is actually going to install this as well. So if you have that jig already, it's going to be the same template for this one. Same bolt, 4 bolts there, and then there goes a drive cam right here. We actually have a steel hawk set up on here because we had some different electronic access set on this door. It'll work with the steel hawk. It'll also work with an Adams Wright 4900. John, what other features does this lock have that are going to be good for our door here?
Fingerprint reader is super nice.
Fingerprint reader.
Yep. Remote unlocking and locking.
From your phone.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to download an app. So this is pretty much going to work almost the same way that it works with the deadbolts and residential and everything else, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, cool. And then we do have a Schlage key override. We're working and looking to see if we can replace that cylinder with a high security one. If you want to match it with your key integration or your master key system. Obviously, this thing looks really heavy duty built. I mean, we've gone through it in the box and you agree and I agree. This looks like a pretty heavy duty unit.
Throw it on the ground.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Does it also look like there's 2 tabs down here that might be for a receiver for a 9-volt battery?
Yeah, 9-volt battery receiver on the bottom.
Okay, right there. So can you guys confirm 9-volt battery? Does it matter polarity?
I'm not sure the polarity matters, but yep, that's 9-volt battery. Whenever the battery kind of dies, it's how you can wake it up temporarily to access.
So you can get like one access, that one last access in there. You don't have to, we wouldn't have to pick the lock or
Exactly.
try and come in some other way or do any damage or anything like that. It is nice that it does have the mechanical key override if they do have, a battery failure or something, but you almost have double redundant battery failure options, which is really cool. So even if the batteries go bad, which are probably right under here, did you put batteries in it?
So there are 4 AA batteries that work this.
Cool.
And you do have to remove this because on the back here is your screw right down here to remove the cover. So it is secure. There's no way you get the batteries out without having this thing off the door.
I think there is actually a hole drilled in the template so that you don't have to take the door off, the lock off the door after it's installed. Sounds like there might be a little confusion on that. Usually you would think that we would have it to where we wouldn't have to pull it off the door every time, but apparently the manufacturers are saying that we would have to pull the lock off the door to replace batteries. Right on. We're going to go ahead and install this and check it out. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, so let's get started with this thing with the Major Manufacturing HIT 32AL3. this is going to use, this Lockly lock uses the same prep as the Alarm Lock 1200, 1250, and 1300 narrow frame series. The only difference is the larger holes that are needed for the Lockly install. So if you have the jig for any of those other locks, you can use that, and that's what we're actually setting up on here. There's a little round piece that goes in the 4900 series latch itself, and a rod that goes through and actually centers and connects and lines up the jig on the door. And then those two big knobs, as you can see, push against the door so that you can make sure that it's perfectly flush and square. You just measure the gap on the top and bottom, and there you have it. You've got your proper back set and you've got the proper alignment so that the holes are lined up nice and easy. The jig also prevents you from skewing holes or angling the drill in any way, shape, or form. It's going to make you hold it tried and true, and it's going to make sure that all of those holes come out in exactly where they're supposed to be and that they are perfectly straight so that you have a very nice professional grade installation. If you don't have the jig, the lock does come with its own template, which is very easy to use, very easy to read. And again, we're literally only drilling 4 holes here. There might be an extra one for the wire to go through, but we'll have to come back and take a look. It is 5 holes. There's an extra hole for that wire that we could see up at the top. Look at that. Again, it is a very, very simple installation and a very simple install. Once we have the door totally and completely prepped, we can then go ahead and start installing the lock. Again, we're going to get rid of that steel hawk. We're going to put in a 4900 series, which should be in there now. John is actually lining up the Lockly, and you can see there is 1, 2, 3 holes at the top. That center hole is going to be for one of the wires that needs to come through and plug into a module on the inside. Now, your standard other lock prep would require a slightly smaller hole, so we just need to enlarge these holes out once they've been lined up correctly. You can see that everything is nice and flat. Here's that wire poking through that wire hole, coming through to the inside, and here is the drive cam. The L indicates left for left drive cam or left-hand door, and this is that Adams Wright 4900 dead latch series. You can see it's got the dead latch, and it allows the cam to sit directly into it and actuate the latch. Now it is installed in the door, just like so. And the square portion, along with the 2 little nubs, are going to plug directly into the Lockly lock. Here's what it looks like on the inside, from the inside looking out. And just a few bolts later, and all of a sudden, it is on the door. This is what it's going to look like, completely mounted on the door from all different angles. The front angle and each side. And this is the top mounting bracket right here. So this is one of the mounting brackets that you would use, and the screw goes through and actually bolts directly to the lock itself. Here is the manual key override. So if all else fails and all electronics are no longer working, you do have a mechanical key backup. You can take this cylinder out and rekey it and apply it to master key systems if you would like, or you can leave it as is. If you're trying to upgrade the cylinder, that could be a little bit difficult to get to a high grade cylinder or a high security cylinder, just so you know. Now we're putting back on all of the Adams Wright paddle exit device pieces so that we can exit out of the location. You will have to add a paddle or an exit device of some sort in order to make the system work. Here's that internal portion where that wire is going to come feed through. It's going to plug directly into this little dongle pack right here. And there's some adhesive on the back side of this. You literally just peel it like a sticker, plug it into place into this little section right here, and it tucks and hides everything away. If you have any extra holes on the door that are not needed or not wanted, like we had happen here, we've installed so many different locks on this door that we needed to cover up some of those other holes from other mounting situations and products. So a quick sticker will cover that up as well. Hey, this is Wayne here, and we have finished the Lockly install. Okay, so first thing that we're going to do is you do your hand across the keypad, and then the keypad will come up. And this is called Pin Genie. The Pin Genie mixes the numbers so you can't tell where the fingerprints are. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 5, 9, 3, 5, 7. It's just our test code, and then push that green light, and it opens up, and you can see it's retracting the latch. And then it's gonna make some noise, come shut again. Now it's locked. Okay, cannot open the door. Okay, then we'll do it again. 1, 2. Let's see here. 1, 5, 9, 3, 7, and it opens right up. Then again, we're going to be able to go over the key using the key. Okay, so right now, locked. I'm going to turn the key, and it works with the key override as well. Okay, and then from the inside, we've got a push paddle, like so. Comes shut, door is locked, push the push paddle, and you're good to go. Then we're going to go ahead and take the key out, and we'll try the RFID tag. Okay, I don't know if it's RFID or not, but it's one of the tags here. So we'll give it that credential. Maybe wake it up. Hear the green indication, and we are in. So there you go. It does work with the tag as well. Okay, so there you have it. So far, I'm extremely happy and extremely impressed with this. This looks like a really solid solution to a very common problem, and we will be happily selling these locks for these aluminum storefront doors. You can see I trusted it enough to put it on our shop right here. Okay, so for more information, check out the website below, and that will be the link to where you can find this product. Thanks for watching and have a great day. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, time for questions, comments, concerns. How much is the product? Does anybody have any pricing? Kafir, I don't know if you have UHS pricing on this, or if we have retail pricing. What is MSRP?
It's gonna vary. You know, I'll let Kafir handle all the pricing, but it's gonna vary. You know, depending on what model and quantity, et cetera, et cetera. But that would be a UHS question.
Okay. For some reason, the number like 780, 750, something right in there, was just under $800. I can't remember if that's retail or MSRP on that. But you know, when we go to bid these out, that's really not that bad. When you figure, you know, we do a lot of hardwired access control, and a single door hardwired access control system is going to run you $3,800. So being, you know, $3,000 less than a hardwired option is going to be a pretty good way to go. Is the Vision Elite still Best Buy only?
No, the exclusivity with Best Buy, it has ended. You can actually order that from our website now.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, because that one's got night vision and a bunch of other features, right?
Yep, it has the night vision, solar trickle charge, and then it will use the lithium ion battery as opposed to your AA's.
Awesome. Let's see here. Maybe I missed it, but where do the QR codes go?
So the newly manufactured locks will have them adhered to the front of the lock, kind of underneath the screen. If you have one of the older models, you can open up the app and print it out yourself. It's easily just kind of printed out from settings.
Okay. Are you selling this product in Canada? If so, who might be selling the product? I think that if you're selling it in Canada, you can get it through UHS or whoever.
Yeah, you can still get everything through UHS.
Any monthly fee?
There's a monthly fee if you're, you know, let's say you're doing multiple locks and your client wants to run everything through one administrator or whatever the case may be, and you're going to use the OS, so the operating system exclusively, then there would be a monthly fee involved in that. But you know, that gets you real-time data, you know, audit trails, whatever type of reporting you want in real time. So that's where that comes from.
Very cool. Very cool. What other questions do we have? If you guys want to unmute microphones and ask questions directly, as long as we're not talking over each other or being rude in any way, go ahead and do so. If there's any other questions in the chat section, whoop. If there's any other questions in the chat section, go ahead and ask them there as well. International shipping makes unfeasible in Canada.
Yeah, we've experienced some issues shipping into Canada. It can be done. I think UHS might have that source to ship there. That would be a question for Kafir, down the road. But we're working on that as well. So hopefully that won't be an issue.
Jim, I don't know what's going on with your mic, but it's not working very well. So I'm going to mute you for the third time. Unfortunately, all we're getting is squeaky voices. Normally, Jim Billings has some really, really good questions. So I'm sure it's just an auditory thing that's going on with your mic right now, but it's not working at this time. All we're getting is Dorothy and the Seven Dwarfs squeaky voice.
Sorry, can I hear me? Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So I have a difficult time supporting manufacturers sales through Best Buy, Home Depot, things like that. So why should we support Lockly in this case?
I mean, there's a bunch of
have a rate-
manufacturers that sell to, different organizations. It's a personal preference, if you don't think that that's something that you want to sell, then that's by all means your choice.
I want to hear from Lockly, not necessarily from you. I mean, I talked to some reps at Schlag and other manufacturers do the same thing. And to me, it's like we're, as an organization, as Locksmiths, getting short end of the stick on this. Where are we?
Yeah, Wayne, I couldn't understand that. It was garble coming through on my end. I'm very sorry. I couldn't understand this question.
Sorry, I'll repeat this. So as a locksmith, I'm having a difficult time supporting manufacturers that sell directly to big box stores. And I understand you want to make money. That's your end goal. But what's the advantage of us supporting you? Like, I mean, I have a difficult time supporting Schlag or Yale for that reason. We sell a lot of their hardware, but on the residential / lower end levels, we get screwed on that. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I think I agree with Wayne a lot there. It is personal preference. I think one of the main advantages that we have is because we're vertically integrated, we can pretty much do whatever we want. So, we offer, the standard manufacturer warranties on parts, on electrical, but what you get coming from Lockly is you get VIP service, you get a retail side. So if you do purchase something on the retail end, but on the pro side, you get our full team. We're complete experts on everything. And then working through our distribution partners, you're going to get great pricing, say from Kafir at UHS. So I think you get the best of both worlds. And I think the biggest thing is delivery times. We have all of our just the last question. All of our locks are at our distribution center. So, we have distribution center in Minnesota and then more towards the west and then some in the east. So we normally can ship within 3 to 5 business days of receiving orders. And in a lot of cases, UHS is going to carry the stock themselves, so they can ship out very, very quickly. So you really get the best of all worlds. But again, to Wayne's point, it is really personal preference. I know people get used to certain products, and that's fine, but that's what makes the world go around, right? Competition, and why not, give everybody a shot at something.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's had that forever, whether it's the Encode or the Yale or whatever product is out there. And I'm not trying to, make a big comparison. I've tried all of them. I literally have. I've tried almost all of the different options that are available out there. And really, at the end of the day, I have to make a choice as to what product I'm going to sell and what product I'm going to stand behind. I know when the digital revolutions before it was even Yale, it was the Arrow digital revolution. I ordered those and I thought they were the coolest thing. They had a brilliant marketing package. It was one of the first digital deadbolts online, and I got hosed on that thing. I got 20 or 30 of them in, and I had to go back out and I had to replace every single one of them. So I really am very hesitant to put my name and my company and package that with a product or a brand. So before I do so, we were engaged with the Lockly product. I usually put it on my personal front door and I engage with it every single day for at least 2 months or 3 months before I go out and start selling it to other people because of that awful experience that I had. And I can tell you that John and I have done everything from multi-family installations in ski resort towns, where they all have to be connected Wi-Fi. They're all on an integrated system through the property management company. It's all single family homes, it's Airbnbs, it's investment properties, it's all condos. You know, we had like 4 or 5 buildings where this product was installed and used, and it works great. It worked great there. It worked great on my home. It's worked great on our customers so far. We've been installing this for over a year now. I don't think we have had one single failure or callback or warranty call that was not purely user error or not installed properly. Like the customer bought it and they wanted to install it themselves, and then we came across the product and of course the door was not aligned properly. What happened was we did a charity thing and gave one away. We gave a Vision away, and we gave it away with the free installation. They didn't know that. They installed it themselves, and the door wasn't aligned properly. So, you know, we had to go out there and fix that for them. But that's the only issue that I've ever had with it. As far as it being installed at the hardware stores and you know, competitive markets, that's not my customer. I don't care about that. If you want to order stuff on Amazon, go ahead and order it on Amazon, order it from Best Buy, order it from Bed Bath, order it from wherever you want to order it from. I'm still going to adjust my rates. I charge more when the customer does that to me. So it doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. I still get my money at the end of the day. Whatever it costs to install that lock and the profit margin that's built in from us selling it is still built into it if we install it for that third party. And if they want to do it themselves, then they were never my customer anyways. So I can't get too hung up on somebody who wants to buy something and install it themselves. I can only offer what we offer, and we offer education, peace of mind, warranty, you know, and reliability. Basically, if you hire us and you pay us to put the lock on, we're going to take care of you till the end. And that's what I would suggest to anybody else out there, that you just adopt that policy. And if somebody wants to install it themselves, they were never your customer to lose to begin with. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns about the product, features of the product? Anything new and cool coming down the pipeline? Questions from people here about different applications? Jim asked earlier in text. Let me see if I can find that. What did you ask, Jim? If a customer has a current fob system, will it work with them or just their fob? So I guess so let's say somebody already has an RFID system on their building, and maybe they want to add this Lockly product to one specific room, or they want to start integrating it. Can your product integrate with existing RFID card reading systems?
At this point, our locks will only work with RFID systems. It's something that we've been considering for the future to kind of make us a little bit more flexible as a product. But at this point, it's only RFID cards that'll work.
Okay, and then we go back to that system where it'll work with the app. So as long as it works with the app and it's upgradable through that process, then if and when you get that software upgraded to it, or you get that update, then it would be able to integrate that at a later point in time. Is that correct?
Yep, that's exactly right. Mm-hmm.
So the answer to the question is not yet, but it's in the works, and it could quite possibly very soon.
Yep, that's what I would say.
Awesome.
And we really encourage everybody to try and get away from the RFID. I know it's I know a lot of people love to have something tangible to pull out of their pocket and use, but you know, you have your biometric fingerprint option, you have the PIN Genie way to get in, you have your app. So, you know, everybody's going to carry a phone. Why carry an RFID card? So that's sort of what we're trying to work toward, but we're getting a lot of pushback on that one, just because a lot of people want that tangible card.
Yeah, and not to mention just the hackability of it. I mean, just start watching some YouTube videos. There's a tool that you can buy from Amazon for like $30. And John and I were actually playing with it and taking the information off of your hotel cards and stripping it and programming it onto other devices, even your phone. At the last Locksmith convention, we were going around playing with things and moving things around and showing that security with some of those card reading systems can just be an illusion. But I agree. Excuse me, I agree. I think the fingerprint is going to be a secure way to go. The Bluetooth system, it's all encapsulated. It's all right then and there. It's got a data log. It's going to show what happened. There's little bits of data that were given. There's little bits of data that were received, and that's all trackable in real time. That's really the way you want to go to it. It again, if you take this lock back to hard keys, anytime I install this product for people, I almost tell them to make sure they put the keys in a safe. Don't even use them. Don't give them out, for crying out loud, because then if you have that mechanical override, it's not even really going to log as an entry on some units. So that is an extreme backup, emergency backup only, and it starts to reduce the security in my mind. Whereas if we can focus on the fingerprint, if we can focus on the Bluetooth, if we can focus on everything that can be encapsulated and kind of cut off from those other options, I think you're going to be a whole lot better. I have to agree with that for sure. More questions coming in. Great product, Wayne and Justin. We'll take a look at it. Yeah, I mean, I have not found one thing that I dislike about this, and I'm pretty picky. Let's see here. Will there be an APERIO or Engage integration?
So we are working on, we have a couple of integration partners lined up at this point. If you have somebody in mind, we're very flexible too. So we're willing to kind of have those discussions with potential API integrations. It just comes down to kind of us having an ideal partnership for different property management softwares, because we do offer our own.
Okay, cool. Let's see here. Is the information stored in the cloud?
So when you have it free on the app, you'll have around 3 months of information stored. If you sign up for the Lockly OS and you go to the premium version, you'll have an unlimited amount of data stored.
Okay. And what kind of security do you guys have? Like what kind of encryption and whatnot do you have for your cloud-based system?
I'm not sure on the encryption level, but I know that it is one of the highest tiers you can have. We've had that question come up before.
About as secure as internet banking, right?
Yep, exactly. That's actually a lot of our executives worked in internet banking previous to working for Lockly.
They usually go hand in hand. Usually those two, the electronic access community will usually borrow or integrate and work with banking software, because it has to be at that level. It has to be that secure.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Cool. For the Wi-Fi, if connection from a remote location, will the router the lock is connected to require port forwarding?
I'm not sure about that particular question. For this model, it's going to be that separate hub that the Wi-Fi hub connects to. But in the case that you're in a remote location, it should work as long as you have the Wi-Fi as well. And if Wi-Fi does go down, there are some workarounds.
Okay, so let's just break this down a little bit. Let's have two completely different scenarios here. Let's say like the one on my shop, we're going to be able to utilize any and all of the features. I can unlock it and lock it remotely. It's connected. We can do it Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, and then we've got the fingerprint, and we've got the key, and we've got the RFID. So you got like 5-6 different ways to get into this thing. Let's take it out of that equation and let's put it in a remote location. Let's say we got to put this on a fish and game wildlife cabin or an oil field cabin or something like that. What options are we going to have at that point? At that point, you're going to have standalone access. You'll be able to use Pin Genie, right? So you'll be able to use the code to get in. You'd be able to use the key to get in. You'd be able to use the fingerprint to get in. And you'd be able to use Bluetooth to get in, because Bluetooth does not require internet. It's just going to communicate directly between the phone and the lock itself. Correct?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay. So you can use it in both applications. You can use it with or without internet, and you can use it with the internet to gather all the features. You're just going to have that real-time data only with the Wi-Fi version of it. You're going to have that connection to be able to pull your audit trails and be able to get all of that information out of the lock. That actually brings up a question for me. So let's say we have a unit that's not hooked up to Wi-Fi in any way, shape, or form. We've got a remote location. What if I wanted to pull an audit trail from this lock? How would I be able to do that? Can I do that via Bluetooth?
Yep. So in Bluetooth, it will update. I think it updates on its own to our servers like every 15 minutes. But if you still need to pull that audit information, you can just do that all through Bluetooth as well.
And how long does it keep it, and how many transactions?
It will keep, I'm not sure there's a limitation on transactions. I'm not familiar with that. But for our most basic model, it will store up to 3 months of data.
Okay, I guess I'll give you an example. I believe one of the competitive products out there is like 40,000 before it starts to recycle. You get 40,000.
I think that we would be
transactions.
competitive with those numbers. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'll check, sure.
Cool. Boy, questions are just intense. There's a lot of good ones out there. That's good.
A lot of pressure ones.
Yeah. Is there a optional cover that goes over the Bluetooth device inside the door?
I'm not sure that we have that at this point, but that would be definitely an accessory I would imagine that a lot of people would seek. So something we can definitely push up the pipeline.
Yeah, that's already in the works. That's coming down. That would be there soon.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like just like a protection cover, or you just don't want to see it, or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, professional business products makes those little stickers that I have. I'm sure I could give them measurements, and it's just a piece of aluminum with a, sticky little back to it. So I'm sure there's all kinds of workarounds for that as well, whether you just don't want it to say Lockly, or you don't want it to have the little QR code, or whether you just want it to blend in more with a blank aluminum slate. Any of those options are possible. And it sounds like Lockly has some things that are coming down the pipeline as well. So really cool, really great. Any other questions, comments, concerns? We've been at it for about an hour, 20 minutes, which is a pretty good meeting, pretty long meeting. Hopefully everybody understands what the product is, understands the features of the products, and hopefully you can get one of these and try it out on one of your customers. Let's see here. I'm assuming they make it in a bronze finish. Do you guys make this in a Durnotic or a bronze finish?
I think this particular model is only satin nickel and matte black at this time.
Matte black. You do have matte black though?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And there's a Venetian bronze coming up as well, because we've had that request before. But this particular one is mainly, I think everybody agrees, satin or black. But so there will be Venetian that we will probably start manufacturing in limited quantities, unless the requests start to really spike.
Yeah. Exactly. All righty. Well, we'll give it another minute. We'll leave everything up for another minute here. I just want to thank UHS Hardware, Kafir, everybody from Lockly. This is just great. I really appreciate being able to have this platform and being able to get you guys some cool product. Again, make sure you register. Everybody here, there's like 25 people that were here at one point. Make sure you register and get entered to win that prize from Lockly that UHS Hardware is going to be giving away. And don't forget to check out the training specials. This is just a tiny sliver. This is about, maybe 30 minutes of information, but it shows you the kind of integration that we do, how detailed we get with the videos. We use high quality, high definition 4K and HD videos, pictures, all of that stuff for all of our training. These training classes are going to show you how to just service storefront doors mechanically. At the end of the day, if you take our course, if you take my hands-on course from UHS Hardware for storefront doors and door installation and service, you are going to look at an opening as a complete opening, as a door, a frame, a closer, lock hardware, threshold, door sweep, hinges. All of those things have to come together in order to make that system work. It's not just about servicing the lock. It's not just about grinding a strike to actually make that door continue to work and continue to fail and put Band-Aids on it. We're going to show you how you can actually charge hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to upsell that person into fixing their opening so that it's a complete healthy opening package, not just a simple repair. Okay, any handyman can go out there and cut and file strikes and bend hinges and do things to make those doors align and work properly for a very small amount of money. We go out there and we actually bid the job appropriately, and we fix and replace things that need to be fixed. I will fix things and give it, a year warranty and not even think twice about it, because I know it's going to last 10 times longer than that. So make sure you sign up for that class. It'll be taught by myself and John Nolan. We'll be going over Herculite style doors as well, solid glass doors, all that fun stuff. Then the next day on Friday, myself and John Nolan will be teaching electronic access. We'll be going over more of the Lockly products. We'll be going over deadbolts. All the standalone features are going to be standalone Lockly features. We're going to go into hardwired access, mag locks, electronic strikes, electrified lever sets, mortise body sets. We did 3 schools with electronic access. We can really show you how you can make a ludicrous amount of money with electronic access. Electronic access is where the money is right now, and it's going on hard buildings, so it's not going anywhere. Automotive industry is great, but those cars drive away, people move, and you may or may not see that business again. And they're trying to make it all very proprietary and more difficult each year to do that. So if you're looking for an addition to and more tools in your toolbox to your automotive locksmithing, electronic access is going to be right up your alley, and we can really show you how to make a ton of money with it. I would say electronic access has been at least 60-70% of my entire business. And we're approaching almost $1 million a year. So that'll give you an idea of how much electronic access and how much money is actually being made doing electronic access. And Lockly is assisting and helping make that budget each time and helping the business sell more and more electronic access. So I just really appreciate the time from UHS. I appreciate the time from the Lockly fellows. And if that's it, we'll wrap it up. Do you guys have anything, last words?
Can you hear me, Wayne?
Yeah.
Okay. I typed the question in, but I'd like to get, if you buy it from UHS, who is the tech support for that product when you buy it?
Lockly.
So you go back to Lockly to get the support if you're having a problem.
Yeah, we're always gonna help out UHS on that, try to take that off their shoulders. And we have a VIP hotline. You have myself, you have Justin. We have any ways that you need support, Jerry, we would take care of you.
There was another product I was looking at, and it was sold by one of the suppliers, but I wouldn't buy it because the people who were there were the support and nobody knew anything about it. So I just quit. I just backed away from it.
And that's exactly why we do that. I don't want to, put that on Kafir's shoulders. That's not his job to support our product. He does a great job at selling it, at offering it, at stocking it, at taking care of his customers. But if there's ever any support issues, Lockly will always take care of it.
Okay.
We've gone on the phone several times with tech support, and it's amazing. It's really good. Tech support's really awesome. So
okay.
I've never had any questions that couldn't be answered, or if they couldn't answer it immediately, they got back to me with an answer in an extremely timely manner. And that's pretty much everybody. I mean, ASA, Abloy, any of them. You don't call UHS hardware for tech support on door operators or, you know, electronic access on some of those other platforms either. So that's the industry standard, is to go through the manufacturer. The manufacturer made it. They have the answers. Cool. All righty. Well, thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Coming up on about an hour and a half here. Really good meeting. Lots of people here. Like to see all the energy and questions and people show up. And I'm just really grateful to have this platform to bring this information to you. So we'll see you next Monday. Thanks for watching. Again, Locksmith Live every Monday, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.